All right, welcome everybody. I'm glad you could take a minute and watch this phenomenal video. I'm about to school you on some BLIC, blended learning in the classroom. My name's Jason Gilbert. I'm an 8th grade social studies teacher at Lakeview Middle School in Battle Creek, Michigan. So this is my final portfolio. I was told that I could be creative on this one, so I thought doing a screencast would be a little bit different than a presentation, a different kind of presentation, a PowerPoint, anything else. I think people like to watch and listen to things, so that's what I'm going to do. So the first thing that we're doing is looking at a learning management system that I use, and it's Schoology, something that is commonly used here at Lakeview Middle School. A lot of teachers are now using Schoology. I like it. It's user-friendly. You can do basic things on it, but there's also a lot of more detailed, in-depth tools to use. There's a lot to explore, and it has the same colors as Facebook. And I don't know if Schoology did that on purpose, but it makes the students feel well acclimated with the system. I think they're clicking around it like they've been on this website for years. Classic. So Schoology, I'm just going to jump around in my blended environment, the classes that I've got set up, my 4 social studies classes and my 5th class where I test everything out. Just jumping into first hour, you can see I've got a few folders set up, working on a fake book. They choose a character of the 5 that we've been focused on: John C. Calhoun, Jefferson Davis, Frederick Douglass, Abraham Lincoln, and Thomas Jefferson. And they make a Facebook type of page on them, in that there's the directions, the assignment, and the template. And it's just all set up in Google Docs, so they pull up the directions and then they pull up the template and make a copy of the template, and it's all done from there. So that's the fake book. I've just been blending. I've had a 1-to-1 student to computer ratio environment just for a couple weeks now, so it's kind of bare in here, but we're just getting started. Had an assignment on credible websites and how we search the web, and then our next unit, Constitutional Guards Against Tyranny. It's up and running. So this is Schoology. It's been working well. I'm enjoying it. So that's that. Now the next thing I think that we have to do is some sort of presentation, and within within this presentation we have to do all of this stuff you see here on the screen. And I did that in PowerPoint. So I'm going to walk you through that. Try to be as entertaining as possible. I know PowerPoints aren't that entertaining, but hey, at least you don't have to just read. You can listen and shut your eyes and kick your feet up and relax for a minute. So let's jump over here and get started. Let's get it blended in here. That was my attempt at Black Eyed Peas, and let's get it started. But we're gonna do some blending. This is me. This is how I make my money, right there, that face. Jason Gilbert. I teach social studies, as I already mentioned. All right, 5 tips for the new blender. The blender would be the teacher that is going into a blended environment. First tip: know how you relieve your stress and have that available at all times when blending. That's a very strong suggestion. If you're working on blending and implementing the things that you plan on doing in the class during the class, that's not a good idea, because you might say things that you regret saying in front of students. So practice everything when they're out of the room, but know that you can take a break and take a walk, count to 10, relieve some of that stress, because you will have it. Second thing, use YouTube. YouTube was or has been amazing for me. Just with Schoology, I've got a lot of colleagues that use it, but I find that just jumping on YouTube is much quicker than finding one of my fellow teachers that's using Schoology and asking them a question. I could always do that, but YouTube usually has the answer It has answers for Schoology. It's got answers for Moodle. It's got answers for Edmodo. It's got answers for other Web 2.0 tools that you might want to use, tutorials that you want students to watch. It's awesome. And if you need to fix your toilet, okay, you have a running toilet, you can use YouTube for that also. So it's not just for school things. Don't break your technology if you can't get something to work. It's not the computer's fault, it's yours. That's, the chances are that it's your fault. But the technology is good. You're probably just doing something incorrectly, so don't slam your computer screen down because something timed out or you're not getting something to work. It's as simple as that. Okay, fourth tip, don't stop troubleshooting if you're struggling. Don't stop trying to look for an answer. Someone knows the answer, like I said. And tip number 2, use YouTube. Someone knows the answer to the issue that you're having because they had it. It's kind of like when we tell students, ask questions in class because someone else might have that same question. Okay, someone else struggled with what you're struggling with, so don't stop trying to figure it out because if you keep working at it, you'll figure it out. And my last tip for the instructor, don't make your class do everything on the computer. That's just something that I found in the first couple weeks. My first week and a half, I did everything on the computer. And it was really boring in class. I'll be 100% honest. It was really boring. It was quiet. No one was laughing. We weren't having fun. It was silent. If you like a quiet class, then I suppose then that could be great for you. But I stopped doing 100% of my activities on the computer. I had them shut their screens and actually have conversations with each other face to face. This is just kind of my spiel on the fact that kids are texting, they're on Facebook, making posts on Facebook, they're using Snapchat, taking pictures and sending little messages, Instagram. They're doing everything so they don't have to talk and use their voice and actually think in the moment about what they want to say and then say it out loud. So don't let them lose that ability and keep practicing that conversational skill that they need. So that's that. Use that information. All right, 5 tips for the new blendee. The blendee is the student, the one who is being blended. So students, listen up. Teachers, give your students these tips. First one, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Yes, your teacher is monitoring what you're doing. Maybe they don't see your screen, but as they're walking around, they'll see your face. And they'll also be able to see your hand. And when you have your teacher walking near you and you quickly exit out of something or you look like you're, guilty of something, you probably are, and your teacher's probably going to figure out what you were doing. So just stay on task and do what your teacher tells you to do. Second tip, clicking the mouse harder or the space bar or any clicking that you're doing, clicking it harder is like yelling at someone who doesn't speak your language. It's not going to make them understand what you're saying, and the extra click pressure will not make the computer do what you want it to. So don't start slamming on your keyboard because you can't get something to work on your computer. It's kind of like the tip that I gave the teachers in my last slide. Number 3, ask for help. Seems self-explanatory, but if you're struggling, don't sit there and not do anything. Okay? Raise your hand or ask a classmate if it's an appropriate time to ask a classmate, but ask for help. Kind of goes along with the same thing. It's okay to feel confused or overwhelmed. Teachers, your teachers are constantly feeling confused and overwhelmed before they come and give you the lesson. So just know that if you're confused, it's okay. Don't stress about it. Relax. And last thing, Wikipedia is not a credible source. I'm sure you'll hear that from your teacher. Teachers, make sure you tell your students that. The people that post on Wikipedia, they're not experts, and experts don't go on and review the information. So don't use Wikipedia. I like to say it can be a good starting point, but you need to cross-reference all the material that you read on Wikipedia with a credible website. So Wikipedia is not a credible source. And if you're going into a blended environment, you're probably going to be doing research on computer. Just skip over that number one result on Google, which is usually Wikipedia if you're looking for something, and go to something else. Find a .edu or a .gov. That's going to help you out big time. All right. My succinct but thorough description of my blended environment. I kind of already said this. So my blended environment, I use Schoology, but I don't believe the students should be in the computer 100% of the class time. They need to talk with their voices. So close the computers, use Kagan Cooperative Learning, get them talking, hold them accountable for the information that they have to come up with on the spot, use those critical thinking skills out loud. Just because you have a computer doesn't mean everything has to be done in a discussion thread. And class discussion, have that discussion that happens in real time. You get to interact with the class much more and hit a lot of things at once if you're actually having the conversations in class. So that's kind of my blended environment. Is I use the computers daily. I'm not saying that I go a week or 2 weeks without using them. I use them daily. But if I want to have a quick rally robin with pairs or round robin with a whole group discussion, then I'm going to do that. I'm going to have them shut their computers and actually talk. So that's my blended environment in my classroom. Okay, let's get some feedback, y'all. Some feedback that I've heard from parents and students. I don't think I put colleagues on here, but I'll add that later. With the students, mixed reviews. I've found that it really depends on their ability to type and then also their accessibility to technology outside of school. Kids that don't have computers, don't have internet at home, they get ticked off when they're using the computer. They get mad. They'd rather write, which seems so surprising to me, but I've found that's the case. A lot of students would rather just handwrite a 7-page research paper instead of type it. But that's because they don't feel comfortable typing, and they don't feel comfortable with the technology because they don't use it enough. So I think that's something that is going to subside. It's going to go away. But when you're starting a blended classroom, that's probably an issue that you're going to run into. As far as the parents, sounds like they seem to like it, I think. A lot of parents have liked the fact that their student can work on their assignments at home on the computer, and they can get onto Schoology with their kid next to them and have the student show them what they're doing in class instead of, "What'd you do today?" "Nothing." They know that their classes are online. They can access them online. So the parent can jump on Schoology and check out the assignments, and also jump on Skyward or whatever you use to send home grades. They can see everything as the student sees it. So I think, from what I've heard from a few parents that I've talked to, they like the whole concept of a blended learning environment. All right, so how this has changed my teaching, going to a 1-to-1 ratio or a blended learning in the classroom environment. Well, first thing, I'm more exhausted than I've ever been. If you saw the time of the screen, it's like 9:45 at night right now, and I'm exhausted because I'm blending right now. And I'm still I still have things to work on for tomorrow. So I'm tired, but the students are much more engaged when they're on the computer. Not saying that they like being on the computer, but like I said earlier, it's silent in the classroom when the kids are on the computer. It was I don't really know how to describe it. It was when the computers first got here and they opened them up, and I actually had a lesson that had good direction. The kids understood their objective and they went right to work and they got on the computer and it was silent. And that's not something that usually happens when I just pass out a worksheet and tell them to get out their pencil and look at the textbook for the answers. So that's changed my teaching, because I know that I'm gonna the kids are going to be focused if they're on the computer. So that's that. It's so much easier to provide extensions for the high flyers. Even if you don't have anything set up in your learning management system, when a student finishes a worksheet that they're working on, you can always say, okay, go ahead and dive deeper. I want you to come up with 5 meaningful questions on the topic that we just covered. So even if you don't have an assignment set up, you can immediately have those high flyers doing something else that's forcing them to think on a critical level. And obviously you can have other assignments, extensions set up within Schoology, and you can do that in 15 or 20 minutes before class starts, or even if you have a second during class, you can set something up and upload it to Schoology real quick, or your learning management system, and say when you finish, there's another assignment for you to work on. So it's really easy to provide extensions for high flyers, something that I haven't been great at doing, because I found in the past I was doing all of the work to get them the information, where now I can just give them a little bit of direction and then they can go and do most of the work finding the information. I just pose a question real quick, they go out and answer it. So that's been awesome so far. I can finally small group. Something I've struggled to do in my first 4 years, but with everyone being so focused, and I know they're going to be focused, they're not going to be off task, I can pull 2 or 3 kids up to my round table at the front of the room and small group with them on some skills that they're struggling with while everyone else is focused on the computers. I think it's a classroom management issue to begin with, but that's just really helping me, the fact that the kids are focused on the computers, because when I've small grouped in the past, kids and the rest of the class really get off task. So that is one big change. All right, 5 new ideas I implemented because of this blended learning in the classroom course. Not sure I'm going to hit the mark on this one at all. You'll see here in a second. First one, I incorporated a learning management system. Never done that before because I haven't had computers. So that's new because of this course. That's about the only thing that is new because of this course. But the second thing, I've had the students conference with me electronically by sharing a document that they were working on in that moment. An example, when we were writing kind of a research paper, a DBE, a document-based exercise, I had the students share the document with me in Google Docs right as they started. And then what I could do is go into that Google Doc, because it was shared with me, and I could watch them type. And if they had a question, they could raise their hand, and I could pull up their Google Doc, and they could type a question in it without me having to basically talk while everyone else is focused, talking with that student. I could just have a quick chat with that student. I could type on their document. I could make suggestions while they're typing. And that was really cool. So that didn't really come up because of what I learned in this BLIC course. It was just kind of something that I found on my own. The third thing, time management skills. I got to say, anyone that's watching this, the time management module in this BLIC course is amazing. So many good points and suggestions. I'm sorry, I'm being sarcastic. So the module wasn't great. The module was not great. However, I do understand why it's in there. I think I'm getting less done by being one-to-one, because I think it's just because we're slow with the technology right now. So as far as time management goes, I had to really be conscious of time management so far and try to figure out how much time am I going to allow students to work on a certain project on the computer, because they can really, some of them will fly through it and do an awful job. Some of them will fly through it and do a great job, and some of them will take forever on an assignment. So time management is a struggle, but it's a skill that we're working on. The next one, student discussion via Schoology. I always have had students discuss things through Kagan structures since I've been teaching, but now we're using Schoology and discussion threads, so that's new. That kind of links up with number 1 with my learning management system. And the last idea, again, it's something that I had an idea of before I even took this course, but because we have computers now, I'm able to do this lessons while I'm out. So I'll go on and do exactly what I'm doing right now. I'll create a screencast. I'll put together a PowerPoint or some videos, or I'll do a webcam YouTube video of myself. And just a week or two ago, I had to be gone for professional development for a day. I made my lesson on YouTube, and I told the sub to just click play. Go to this YouTube video and click play, and that's all the sub really had to do, facilitate the class. But I gave directions. I let the students know my expectations. Everything went well. So that's another new idea. All right, Creative Commons license. Here, this license means you can't claim this as your PowerPoint, so don't, or I will find you and prosecute. I'm kidding, I won't. But this is my Creative Commons license. This is basically saying that this is my work. It's by me, and if you want to share it, you can share it. That's what this little thing means. Okay, if you're going to use it, share it. So this, I think what this does is kind of get my name out there, apparently. So that's a Creative Commons license, kind of like a copyright with any other thing you might want to copyright. So that's that. All right, a few images about our topic. Now this was in the Moodle, the BLIC module or whatever that we're supposed to do. I'm not quite sure what it means, so I've got 2 images. When it says our topic, I don't know if it's talking about the topic I teach or blended learning. So first image, this is John C. Calhoun. If you're out of state watching this, we're in Michigan, and we live in Calhoun County, a county named after this man who was at once a vice president, also a plantation owner who owned many slaves and thought that slavery was a good thing. He was an interesting character, and it's always fun to talk about John C. Calhoun in a sense that he was he was all for slavery. He was pro-slavery. He wanted slavery to be spread throughout the United States, and we here in Michigan, in the north, where slavery was illegal, named our county after someone who owned slaves. So I don't know. There's a picture about my topic, and I got that picture from biography.com. Okay, next picture. This is my great colleague, Mr. Mueller. No, it's not him, but this is a little picture that I made. This is Mueller during BLIC sessions. Mueller, if you're watching this, you are awesome, and you're not the only one that felt this way. So that's that. And this kind of comes back to my first slide, first topic, and my first tip. As I mentioned in my opening slide, sometimes you will be frustrated, and this man is frustrated. I got this picture from, I think it's Nerdable, but they use 3s for their E's. But there's that link. That's where I got the picture, and then I was able to put that put the words on there using this website right here. Okay, thanks for watching. It's late. I'm tired, and we are done with this presentation, and I am officially done with BLIC. Catch y'all later.